Episode 1. Medicine Through Time. 800 Years of Change Explained. Introduction. Imagine being sick in 1250. No hospitals, no antibiotics, just prayers, herbs, and maybe a leech or two. Now fast forward 800 years. We've decoded the human genome, built the NHS, and saved millions through vaccination. This is Medicine Through Time. A journey through how humans understood and treated illness from the Middle Ages to the modern day. Welcome to 10-Minute Histories. Real history, real quick. Have you ever wondered how we went from bloodletting with leeches to robotic surgery and organ transplants? How people in the Middle Ages treated the plague with prayers and potions, while today we use antibiotics, DNA scans, and advanced hospitals? Welcome to Medicine Through Time, a 10-episode journey exploring how humans have battled illness and disease for over 800 years. In this episode, we'll set the stage. We'll walk through the major periods of medical history, introduce the most important themes, and prepare you for everything to come. Whether you're a GCSE student or just curious about history, you're in the right place. Let's start with a simple question. What exactly do we mean by medicine through time? Historians look at how people have understood disease, what treatments they used, who provided care, and how these things changed or didn't change from the medieval period to the modern day. The timeline we'll explore includes medieval England, 1250–1500, the Renaissance, 1500 to 1700, the Industrial Period, 1700 to 1900, modern medicine, 1900 present. Each of these periods includes major turning points. In the Middle Ages, people believed disease was caused by God's punishment or an imbalance of the four humors: black bile, yellow bile, phlegm, and blood. By the 19th century, Louis Pasteur's germ theory completely changed this understanding. And in the 20th century, the discovery of DNA and the creation of the NHS revolutionized how medicine worked in Britain. But change wasn't always fast or easy. To understand how and why medicine changed, we'll keep returning to 5 key themes, 5 driving forces that shaped medical progress. 1. Individuals. People like Edward Jenner, Florence Nightingale, and Alexander Fleming. 2. Science and technology, from microscopes to X-rays to genome mapping. 3. Government. Laws, public health acts, and funding decisions. 4. War, which forced quick innovation, especially in surgery and trauma care. 5. Religion, which sometimes helped, but often held back progress. Let's take a quick look at each. Individuals are often at the center of medical breakthroughs. Think of Edward Jenner, who introduced the smallpox vaccine in 1796, or Alexander Fleming, who discovered penicillin by accident in 1928. These people mattered, but they didn't work alone. Technology and timing were often just as important. Science and technology underpin almost every major shift in medical understanding. Without microscopes, Pasteur couldn't have seen bacteria. Without better surgical tools and anesthetics, modern operations would be impossible. Government also played a huge role. In the 19th century, the Public Health Acts tried to improve living conditions in cities. In 1948, the British government launched the NHS, the first free healthcare system in the world. Then there's war. As horrible as it is, war has often sped up medical change. WJEC brought advances in blood transfusion, plastic surgery, and infection control. World War II led to mass production of penicillin. Religion is more complex. In the Middle Ages, monasteries cared for the sick, and religious explanations shaped medical thinking. But the Church also restricted dissection and promoted outdated ideas. Later, the decline of religious influence allowed more scientific methods to flourish. Let's pause with a short story. In 1348, as the Black Death swept across Europe, people believed it was caused by bad air or a punishment from God. One Londoner wrote in his diary that entire streets were silent, not from peace, but because everyone had died. Doctors wore bird-like masks stuffed with herbs to purify the air. This wasn't science, but it made sense to people at the time. Now let's think about another theme: change and continuity. Historians use these terms to describe what has changed and what has stayed the same. For example, the idea that disease is caused by supernatural forces mostly disappeared after 1700. That's a big change. But herbal remedies and care within the community continued for hundreds of years. That's continuity. So what will you learn in this series? We'll cover major developments in disease and its causes, surgery and anatomy, hospitals and healthcare, public health and hygiene, the role of doctors, nurses and governments, the impact of war, religion and science. We'll also look at hospitals, from monastic care to NHS wards, women in medicine, from midwives to Nightingale, public attitudes, fear, superstition and science, the role of printing, how it spread new ideas across Europe, and we'll look at how to apply this knowledge to real GCSE exam questions, source-based and thematic. Let's preview the rest of the series. Episode 2, Medieval Medicine, Bloodletting, Prayers and Plague. Episode 3, Renaissance Rebels, Vesalius, Harvey and Paré. Episode 4, Jenner and Vaccination, Smallpox versus Science. Episode 5, Germ Theory, How Pasteur and Koch Changed Everything. Episode 6, Surgery, Transformed, Anesthetics and Antiseptics. Episode 7, Public Health in Victorian Britain. Episode 8, The NHS and the 20th Century. Episode 9, Modern Medicine, From DNA to Transplants. Episode 10, WWI Medicine, Trench Warfare and Trauma. Episode 11, Thematic Revision, Change and Continuity. Episode 12, Exam Skills and Practice Questions. Let's try a quick exam-style reflection. In your GCSE exam, you might be asked, how far did medicine change between 1250 and 1500? To answer this well, compare beliefs, religion versus reason, treatments, herbs versus bleeding, and the role of the church. Use phrases like, a significant change was, and, however, many ideas stayed the same because... Here's a quick challenge. Can you match the following discoveries to the correct century? 1. Germ theory. 2. Smallpox vaccine. 3. The NHS. 4. DNA structure. Pause here if you want to think it through. The answers are 1. 19th century, Pasteur and Koch. 2. 18th century, Edward Jenner. 3. 20th century, 1948, post-WJEC. 4. 20th century, 1953, Watson and Crick. As we move through this series, try to notice patterns. Ask yourself, who or what caused this change? What stayed the same? Was progress fast or slow? How do these changes affect us today? Understanding the story of medicine isn't just about the past. It's about how society, science, and people respond to crisis and opportunity. History doesn't just tell us what happened, it shows us how humans coped with crisis. When we study how people once understood disease, we also learn about fear, hope, and the power of ideas. And that's what makes medical history so relevant, not just for your GCSE, but for understanding the world. In the next episode, we'll explore the medieval world, where barbers performed surgery, monks copied medical books, and people believed the stars could cure disease. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the rest of the series. This is 10 Minute Histories, real history, real quick. See you next time.